Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. You will notice that I'm not in the usual Kelsel's Arcade. I'm here in my UK property, in my office here, my home office. So think of this as the Office-cade or Kelsel's Office-cade. And in this session we're going to be doing a review of the Bobble Evercade Bartop. You may recall in the past I've said I didn't see the point of these, but now sitting here in the UK I haven't got any room for any more arcade one-ups. I have got a little space over here on my office desk where this guy would sit, and my girlfriend bought me this for Christmas knowing that I'm a huge Bobble fan, so I thought let's do an unboxing and review for the channel. Not only does it have Bobble, there's 10 games on there in total, we'll check those out, but I've also got a little handheld Evercade, so a bunch of cartridges. I think it plays all of these. We'll find that out in the review also. And also give you a little tour of this mini Office-cade in terms of, maybe how you could build a little bit of nostalgia into your home office if you're into retro games and work from home in the UK. So let's get into the unboxing and review right after this. Alright, so a little bit limited for space here. Hopefully I'll be able to show you everything that comes out of the box here. I'll open it with care with a nice pair of scissors. It's brand new. I believe this came from Amazon. It was obviously wrapped up for Christmas. And after I've done the unboxing and review, I'll also just talk about the pricing, what the current price is in the UK. And how it compares to some other options that are available both in the UK and the US. Let's see if I can open this first of all. Very nicely packaged, first of all. Instructions on the top showing some of the other cartridges that you can purchase to expand this. So I've got to say straight away, that is a really neat idea with these Evercade home arcade systems. While the form factor and size isn't as good as I would like it, I'd love to see a 3/4 or full size scale one of these. But the expansion possibilities are huge because there's a massive library of Evercade cartridges. So very excited to see how that plays. We've got the adapter in here on the top, a couple of different converters there for different EU, UK plug sockets. Set those aside here. We've got something else here, a little blue envelope with the sticker on it. Let's check out what's in there. Oh, very cool. So not only, so this guy comes branded as a Tato cabinet. Now I would want to keep it as Bobble because Bobble's one of my favourite games. But you can also swap out the marquee, so if you want to make it Rastan or Space Invaders, the options are there. Very cool idea. Little bag, don't eat it. Okay, good packaging. And then let's lift out the cabinet itself, if it will come out. There we go. Anything else in the box? No, just packaging there. And there we have it. Little mini arcade. Joystick feels good, buttons feel good. Marquee at the top here. Looks like that will just pop out if we want to change it. On the back we've got a USB-C, presumably for the power, nothing else. And then on the front we've got 2 USB sockets, a headphone socket, and then the cartridge sockets as well. I'm very interested to see how that's going to work. Size of it, obviously it's small. I think playing it kind of on my desk where it's going to go, I think it will look pretty good. So let's get it powered up. I'll change the camera around so we can focus on the screen here, show you some gameplay. Okay, so have this set up on the desk here, just next to my laptop. A little bit of background noise from the Mortal Kombat 2 machine, which I'm just going to turn down. So let's power this up for the first time. We can figure out where the power is. Right on the front there, if you couldn't see that, on off button is the coin button, which is pretty cool. Let's just adjust this down a touch here. So while that's loading up, looks like there is some film, maybe on the reverse of the Bubble Bobble display. Just pop that out for a second. Probably should have left that to do the boot up without me talking over it, sorry. Let's go English. I'm looking for Wi-Fi networks. I'll be right back after I've entered that. Alright, so we're back. And we can scroll down and accept the URL. Have to scroll down by the look of it. Obviously I'm going to read all of that. So, games included, Bubble Bobble, obviously the marquee title. Kadash, Elevator Action, love that game. Fairyland Story, Growl, not something I'm familiar with. Legend of Cage, I've played. New Zealand Story, it's a fun little game. Puzzle Bobble, almost a preference over Bubble Bobble, so definitely love to see this title on here. Rastan is a cool game, Space Invaders, of course, and back to Bubble Bobble. Let's have a look at what settings are available. Looks like this is an option for the cartridge, perhaps. Yep, the cartridge installed. It's like truck's done. What's this? Available. Something done over the next highlight of the month. That's pretty cool. Hidden games to unlock. Very cool. Sign up to a newsletter for free unlocks as well. I'm interested to see what games come there. Library. Definitely would consider adding the Neo Geo cards. And then settings, what have we got here? Game, theme. I think we're leaving on the theme of Bubble Bobble. Sound. Network and connected. Right, doesn't seem to be any codes. It seems to be anything to do with the graphics as such. Right, theme, let's have a look at the display, I missed that. So aspect ratio, pixel perfect, full screen. I do like the scan lines. I'm going to add those on. Subtle. Bezel, Evercade, wireframe. I'll just leave that. Demo mode, intro video. I'll leave scan lines off for this main display. I'm guessing they're going to come on in the game. Yeah. Alright, let's go back and play some Bubble Bobble. So coin up is one of the little buttons here, and start. Interesting, there's an insert coin. I'm assuming you can just plug in a USB controller and play a second player on this as well. Gotta say, I'm loving the concept of this so far. Why didn't they do this in full size or 3/4 size? This would be an awesome format with the simplicity of adding games by buying the cartridges. Fantastic for the end user because you can always expand it easily. Also fantastic for the company because they've got a recurring revenue stream. Alright, let's see how we menu and quit. I gotta have a look at Puzzle Bobble next. So far, controls really intuitive. I've not had to kind of figure anything out really. Super easy to navigate your way around with A for forwards, B for back. And the game's obviously loaded and playing very nicely with the scan lines on there. Missed that one. Very cool. Right, I'm guessing you got to turn it off to put a cartridge in. I'm old school, so I'm going to do that, put a couple of cartridges in and show you some of the gameplay on those. Alright, so 2 cartridges popped in down there at the bottom. I went with a Bitmap Brothers one and an Atari Lynx collection. And just to remind you, they just slot in nicely down here at the bottom. So let's turn it back on. I don't know, by the way, if you have to turn it off to put the cartridges in, but I would always recommend you do. Being an old school gamer from back in the day of the NES, for example, you don't want to take the cartridge out while the power was on. So I'm guessing if we go to the left, hit cartridge, awesome. So we can see we've got Atari Lynx Collection 2 in there, as well as the Bitmap Brothers Collection 1. So what do we want to see first? I'm going to go Xenon 2 Mega Blast. What an amazing soundtrack this game has, if you remember it. I always thought this game had sound in the game. Maybe there's a setting there to turn the sound back on. Let's reset it. Maybe I'm just remembering the intro music. I had this on the Atari ST. I think if you were an Atari ST fan back in the day, you had to justify having one over the Amiga by saying the sound was better on every game on it. Oh yeah, music. Let's go. Be here all day just showing me playing games. Let's have a look how an Atari Lynx game runs on it. Do you want to see? Cal Games, I guess everyone had that on the Lynx. And amazingly, although the Atari Lynx is one of my favourite video game consoles of all time, I have a Game Boy and a Game Gear right behind me. I don't have a Lynx, so this would be the only way I have of playing these games. I swear that game was way better back in the day. Let's see if I can remember how to do the BMX game. Yeah, I don't want to do that without moving. I'm not going to show you how terrible I am on these games. Let's quit out and let's try one of the others. Chaos Engine. If we've got any younger people on the channel watching this and you're thinking this doesn't look that good, you've got to remember back in the day 1992 or whenever this came out, maybe earlier 1990. This was one of the best games available on an Atari ST. In fact, just the Bitmap Brothers in general made some quality games, so this is a nice little cartridge to add to this system.
Zone activated.
Alright, well, we haven't got all day, but this is really good fun with the ability to expand with the cartridges. I've got to say, I'm probably just going to go ahead and buy pretty much all of the cartridges from Evercade now to play on this. It's a really neat idea, like I say, great for the end user, the consumer, also great for Evercade, as obviously they've got a recurring revenue and people are going to collect the cartridges. I think I'm much more likely, personally, to play Evercade cartridges on this system, on my desk, rather than carrying a handheld around with me, because I haven't really played that. I'd rather take my Nintendo Switch if I'm travelling. But this is going to be a lot of fun. Just before I wrap up here, I didn't get around to taking this off. As I mentioned, it has got film on, so you can peel that. If you were thinking it looked a little dull or not shiny, let's see if that makes a difference. But what a cool idea. I mean, it's Bubble Bobble themed, but really, around the side of it, it's just a Tato. So easy just to pop out the marquee and change it to whatever title you wanted. I think that's a really cool idea. Maybe some of the other home arcade products should think about that. Maybe having like a 12 game package with a more generic console design and a swappable marquee. That would be pretty cool. So a lot of things on here that some of the bigger home arcade players haven't perhaps thought of. I love the design, the quality is good, it's already built, I don't have to mess around building anything. I love the expandability, the screen's good, the sound's good, and overall the price point was very cool as well. Let's have a quick look, speaking of pricing, at the pricing on this system and some of the competitors if you're considering these smaller form factors for your home arcade, and then we'll get into my wrap up and summary. Alright, so just checking out the pricing on here. Like I said, I didn't buy this. Looking at $279 if you're in the US, and you can see the kind of expansion cartridges are around $29 and up, maybe. I also checked on the UK. I would imagine a lot of people in the UK would be interested in this smaller form factor here. Interestingly, I couldn't see any Partycades, which is a slightly larger version from Arcade 1-Up. They were selling for quite a lot in the US, but I saw on Amazon UK you could get the NBA Jam Partycade. This is a slightly bigger form factor. I think £300 though, you're getting into kind of 3/4 scale. Whereas here for the Bubble Bobble Evercade, just as a comparison, £229. So this unit is quite expensive, I guess, for a small countercade. Having said that, I think with the interchangeable marquee, the quality of the build, quality of the display and the sound and the joystick and buttons feel good, and the fact you can expand it, I'm going to say this is worth it as a one-off. I think if you were buying multiple, no, just stop at one. That's all you need here. I don't know if they even do any other bar tops. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, they do a Mega Man as well. That's very cool. And I did previously view it, so I must have already known that. That's pretty cool. Again, having the expansion options there, I think that's something you definitely might want to consider. But then Partycades seem to be difficult to get, but you can get the Bartop Arcade 1-Up, which is the equivalent of this in terms of size. It's a little bit cheaper, but you haven't got any of the expansion options. For me, this Evercade is definitely a better option than the Arcade 1-Up comparable version. I wouldn't go for a Partycade from Arcade 1-Up still. As I said, I think if you go in for something that big and that costly, you may as well just get the 3/4 scale cab. Your other option, even smaller, are these quartercades. Now I did actually get to see these in Hamleys in London around Christmas time, and they are pretty good quality, but at $2.49 I'm not sure I'd want to spend that sort of money on something so small. So for me, if you're looking for something smaller to get a bit of nostalgia into a small space in your home office, you haven't got room for the 3/4 cabs, I'm going to put a massive thumbs up to one of these, either the Mega Man or the Bubble Bobble. I think my preference would be Bubble Bobble, but if you like the Capcom games, I think you can get Capcom expansion cartridges as well. Let me just check, or maybe I dreamt that. Capcom Evercade. There's an Evercade Pocket Edition with Capcom titles. Did they not do a cartridge? I thought they did, but I'm not seeing one here. If you know the answer to that, does Evercade do Capcom games on a cartridge? If you know the answer, let me know in the comments. Let's go back to the US real quick. No, doesn't look like they have a Capcom cartridge, or maybe they did and sold out. But I'm definitely going to pick up these Neo Geo cartridges for this one. Oh, and Double Dragon as well. Do they do a Double Dragon on the cartridge? Anyway, let's get into that another time. For now, let's jump into the summary. Alright, so let's have a quick look around the Officecade here in the UK. This room is probably, I don't know, about 8 foot by 10 foot maybe, so a little bit more than a cupboard. But on the house plan it was set as an office, so we've got quite a lot in here for an office. We could have just had a desk, but let's talk you through the nostalgia we've crammed into such a small space. First of all, kind of a combination of I guess the Nintendo Game & Watch and these other LED games is really what got me into kind of portable gaming. I used to play the Nintendo Game & Watch on the ferry from England to France as a kid, which ultimately then got me into the Game Boy, which was probably my favourite handheld console. And what have we got here? 4, 8, 12, 16 games there. I think I was going to do a top 10, but I couldn't quite do the top 10, so we've ended up with the top 16 there. Some great games in there. Double Dragon, Balloon Kid, Street Fighter on the Game Boy. Fun game if you haven't played it. Mario Bros, of course, DuckTales and others. The Game Gear was another fantastic handheld. Some of my favourite games on here. I didn't play that as much as a kid, but I just think going back I had to get a boxed mint condition one. Oh, and of course I've got an original mint condition Game Boy there. The LED games, and then coming down, of course we've got an arcade one-up Street Fighter here. I got this from Smith's Toys. I think it was £299, about 50 quid for the stall. Pac-Mania, I believe, was an Amazon purchase, maybe. $2.50. Or was that from Costco? I can't remember now. Watch the video. I did a review of that. It's actually a really good cabinet for 250 quid. Of course, it's got the non-BOE screen, so it fades from the side, but as long as you play it straight on, it's all good. Mortal Kombat 2. Just the legacy A1-up. But we do have the Sabo's Arcade marquee. Pops really nice. As well as the header there. You'll also see as we move around the room, we've got a massive collection of Funko Pops. We've got our newly added Bubble Bobble. It'll be fun to get some play there. The actual office part. And then some other nostalgia here. You're into Harry Potter. selection of wands here, some more Funko Pops. So yeah, you can cram quite a bit into a small home office over here in the UK. Definitely packed full with as much nostalgia as possible here. Anyway, let me know what you think. I'm hoping at some point we'll probably extend the UK arcade, maybe into some kind of a games room or something in the garden. But that's about as much as we're going to cram in here for now. So thank you very much for watching. In summary, I think at this sort of price point, if you've got a smaller kind of home office space and you're looking to add a bit of nostalgia, looking to add some arcades but haven't got much room, then this is a great option. I would prefer to have additional 3/4 scale cabinets. If Evercade did a 3/4 scale cabinet that you could plug in the Evercade cartridges, I think that would be huge. So if you're watching Evercade, why not consider maybe doing something in partnership if it's not something you can produce yourselves. But overall, I would definitely recommend this item. It's a fun game. If you love Bubble Bobble, it's great playing it on here. You saw some of the other games, the Lynx games in particular. I'm going to have a lot of fun playing this. I can just sit it side of my desk, nice little unit to have a go on in a lunch break or something. So if you're into retro games and you haven't picked up one of these, check it out. They're on Amazon, very affordable, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next one.